Hey everyone, Aussie Viking here to do another video on Star Wars. So, I was reading a mini-series sort of thing of Anakin and Obi-Wan adventures, which is canon in Marvel, right? And this is before Episode 2. This is during his 10-year training from Episode 1 to Episode 1 Episode 2. And something interesting came up. It was about how Anakin was still learning. And this is the strongest Force user ever, and he himself, the Chosen One, was having trouble with his powers and how to fully grasp them and use them. He wasn't perfect, you know, and he was like, you know, his training needs to keep going on and all that, and it makes sense. And then I thought, okay, that's cool, that makes sense, you know, because he has to learn. And then I remembered Rey, and yes, she's, you know, the Mary Sue, she's too perfect and stuff like that. Now, to relay on that stuff, I get the scavenging stuff, how she can fix stuff and all that really well. That makes sense. She's a scavenger, similar to how Anakin was in the original Phantom Menace, which that made sense. I totally got that. Maybe fixing the Millennium Falcon was a bit too much, but I still understood it. But when it came to Force powers, it made no sense, and she was way too perfect, and I'm trying to think, how? Why? And Disney has to tell us why, and I'm hoping it's a good reason. I thought, how? So, first of all, she's really good. She's got a gun, and like 2 shots later, she can aim and shoot a stormtrooper full on. And then there's the mind rape thing that Kylo does, and she just beats him back.
You're afraid that you will never be as strong as Darth Vader.
And then she can manipulate the stormtrooper to undo her cuffs and leave, and then...
You will remove these restraints and leave this cell with the door open.
I will remove these restraints and leave the cell with the door open.
The weirdest one is when she has the lightsaber. She fights against Kylo Ren, who should have won. Absolutely should have won, because first of all, she didn't even want the sword. She's never seen a lightsaber. She's never used a lightsaber. She's been on Jakku, and while she's good with a bow staff, lightsaber and a bow staff are quite different to an extent. And then she's fighting a Sith, well, not a Sith Lord, but like a Sith apprentice who's 30 years old and very, very strong, and she wins. And everyone's like, oh, but he's hurt and stuff. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a very big badass for actually being hurt so many times and still keep going, but he's a Sith. He should learn. Every time a Sith gets hurt, they use that rage and anger to keep going. If anything, he should have kicked her ass. Yet all of a sudden, she kicks his ass. And I thought to myself, what is a realistic way as to why she's so good? And the first thought did come to my mind of that possible rumor of her being, you know, the whole Anakin reincarnation thing, which is so stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of crazy stuff in the Star Wars universe, but just reincarnating Anakin? A lot of fans even think that. That's the dumbest thing ever, and we do not want that. But then I thought of a more realistic way. I thought, how is she so good? And stuff like that. And I thought of KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, the original video game RPG. So, spoilers for that game of like 15 years old or something like that. Spoilers, if you haven't played that game, maybe stop watching. But the idea is this. In the KOTOR game, you play as a soldier who later on finds that he's Force sensitive. Now, when he becomes a Force sensitive, he learns how to use his powers, uses lightsabers, and is very skilled in the art of being a Jedi Force wielder. Very fast, extremely fast. Not as fast as Rey, but still fairly fast. And then later on, you find out that he was actually a Sith Lord called Darth Revan, who got his mind wiped and Force memories implanted and stuff like that. And I thought, that might be exactly what Disney's doing, and that would make a lot of sense. Disney, I think, might be doing the whole, she's so good with everything, it's because she was trained as a Jedi, maybe Luke's apprentice, or maybe an apprentice of another Force wielder, and she had her mind wiped for whatever reason. And I know people are like, yeah, but we saw pictures of her as a kid, that could have been a false memory, you know? And I was like, but what about that guy, he was looking after her and stuff? Well, I mean, you pay him a lot of money, and he's probably like, shit, I'll look after the girl. You know, like, there's a lot of pieces I can kind of understand and be like, they might be going this way, and I hope they do. Do not go the Anakin reincarnation thing with Rey. I will literally, if that happens, I might very well just give up on this Star Wars trilogy. 1 and 6, my films, and everything in between are my films. Even the spin-offs from Rogue One to Han Solo, I'll keep. But 7, 8, and 9, if they do go that way, I might be done with them. It depends if they do it right or not, but I'm really hoping they don't do it, because I'm still going to be like, well, that's fucking stupid, you know? But if they do the whole she was a very powerful Jedi, I mean, you could even have that, she was 15 years old, she was learning and stuff between 10 to 15, and then that happened and they wiped her memory and they put all this stuff in it, and it could work. It could totally work, and I really hope that's how they do it, because it explains why she's so good. It explains why there's a sort of who is she about her, and it honestly just explains all the Mary Sue elements and gives a realistic take on why she's so good at things, Now, just take a moment to think for a sec here. We have Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, the very powerful, powerful Force user, as you can see in this clip here. Now, growing up, training with Jedi and other Padawans, while he was good, he still had to learn. He had to go through the emotions, he had to go through failing and then learning from that, and then he got stronger than the others. But here we have Rey, someone who's able to do things within a day or two that the Chosen One took years to do. Think on that. Anyway, that's my thoughts. That's what I came up with and stuff. And tell me what you think. Do you think it's right? Do you think it's possible? Do you think they might do it differently, but they might have elements of that? I really hope they do, because the whole mind wipe and new memories and stuff, it does harken back to what Disney's doing to the old stuff. Oh, we're going to copy a lot of old stuff, but at least this way it's not copied in a way that's like, oh god, here we go again. Because let's be honest here, unfortunately KOTOR is non-canon. I still consider it canon, but unfortunately Disney's like, yeah, it's non-canon, but they can still take stuff from it. Anyway, Aussie Viking out, my little theory on what Disney might be doing with Rey. But yeah, Aussie Viking out, and Valhalla, bye.